to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and it's a lovely Sunday. Happy Easter to those who celebrate it, and respect to anyone who doesn't. But we're here again with the man, the young brother, Des Scoby in Texas, linking up with me here in Ohio in the Midwest, and down south. We are doing our collab once again. And it's always a pleasure to have him here because he's a boxing mind for sure, and he's a man of many other skills as well, many other talents. So while I'm speaking on that, let them know. I know you said it last time, but you got that project eventually coming up. So for
Yeah,
those
yeah.
who didn't
Working on a
see,
project, working on the Avant Garde podcast. The Avant Garde represents abstract, obscure, independent, unorthodox thought and mindsets. Now, if you ask anybody that has me on their panel on boxing, my opinion isn't like everybody else's opinion, and I always try to back it up with legitimate facts. Whether you like me or not, whether you like my opinion or not, you can't say that I'm not unoriginal in my claims when it comes to not only the sport of boxing but almost anything. So Avant Garde is coming soon, most likely this summer to
okay,
YouTube. I'll try to have it also through Spotify also.
that's live. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That's definitely what's up. Give me something to look forward to, man. Put it in my rotation, man, with everybody else. That way it keeps me occupied. All right,
Shout out
y'all. So,
Wayne, first commenter.
hey, Wayne, what's going on, mate? I appreciate you coming back, man. We did a good show yesterday.
I
Mike
peeped
Ware
some
was
of it
good.
when I was off. It was a great show. He's pretty knowledgeable in the sport.
Yeah, he is, man. Mike Ware, man, big shout outs, man. I appreciate you popping up. Hit that thumbs up, please. Wayne and Mike, hit thumbs up. And yo, look, we are like 40 subscribers away from 1,000. Only
You can get
40.
you can get
That's
there.
that's a small, that's not a big order or tall order.
No,
And
not
it's
at all.
free. It's free to subscribe. It costs you
Yeah.
nothing to support. So please hit that subscribe button. And if everybody could share this to somebody in the family, I mean, I know a lot of us have at least one or two family members that are boxing fans. Send that link to a cousin, text it to a cousin or a brother, maybe even a sister if she follows it. But let's just get the word out there, y'all, because we almost there. We that close, literally. And it's been a 3-year grind. So I appreciate all the support. All right, man. So I guess we could start off talking about Tim Zoo versus
Naruja.
Dennis
Nurja.
Nurja. Yeah. Yeah, man. What'd you think about that performance?
It
And was the
good
performance
enough.
what you expected?
No, but no, I expected a victory. Um Maybe not a tough fight, but um it was it was good enough to keep Zoo on his heels. It was an active fight. I'm not a fan of announcing big fights and then having one before because things get messed up that way.
Yeah, it
Um
does.
like a lot of people get memory. Fast rewind when Canelo was still coming up and Ortiz was still a big name. We were supposed to get Canelo versus Victor Ortiz. That was signed and sealed and ready to go. But then Ortiz took on a fight with Josecito Lopez, and that's the famous fight that Ortiz got his jaw broken. And so he quit. He couldn't continue. And then Josecito got that fight for Canelo. So there's been many things like that has happened throughout boxing. So I've never really been a fan of things of this type of setup, but it worked in his favor. I think it's interesting that Crawford was in Australia recently, like during the week of this fight, and actually told Zoo that he felt that though Spence still had enough to beat him,
Yeah, yeah, I seen that, man. I
which
seen
is
what you was talking
crazy,
about.
even though we
Yeah,
haven't seen Spence since Crawford last fought him.
right. Exactly. Hey, man, that's something right there. I feel the same way, man. I feel like, uh, although it's been a while, ring rust can be a factor, but I feel like Spence has enough mental and muscle memory that Tim Zoo is not. He's up and down. He's inconsistent, kind of like you know what I'm saying. Against a guy like he fought yesterday, yeah, dude's okay, but he wasn't nothing too spectacular. His last two performances were not that great. So I think Spence would have enough to still make it competitive,
No, I
even with
feel
the
you.
layoff.
Zoo follows people for Zoo, the Zoo family in general. It's
Hit that thumbs up when y'all enter, please.
the Zoo family in general is going to have a complicated legacy overall because it's a low key dynasty. Because you have a father who's all time great, and then you have the son. Now, Zoo isn't bad. Zoo is arguably one of the better sons in arguably the last 25 years, sons of former greats, not just sons of champions, sons of former greats who have lived up to some form of the hype. But then people forget that there's Nikita Zoo, his younger brother, and my argument still holds. The youngest of the boxing siblings is always the better of the two. So between the Durrell twins, between the Benavidez brothers, between Franco and Bam, between the Dubois siblings, you can even go back to when it was Lou DeVille and his sister, younger sister. She was a better world champion than he was. You can go back to the Galaxy brothers, Kakor and Kaosai. Kakor was the older one, Kaosai was the youngest, and Kaosai is the more legendary fighter. So, and right now looks and Nikita has athleticism in his has athleticism where Zoo doesn't. And which is interesting because Kasha was never an athletic fighter. But Nikita shows a bit of a American flair, a bit of a African American flair to him at times. So if he has his dad's chin and power mixed in with uh more stitches and evolution of footwork, Nikita may be the better of the two brothers moving forward. More like the Inoue brothers. Takuma's the older of Naoya, and Naoya is better than Takuma. It's like wherever the older brother falls short on the younger brother, the youngest sibling, wherever the older sibling falls short on, the younger sibling picks up all the slack in. Like, okay, they're having issues here. I'm gonna fix that. You know, like Jose Benavidez had a problem being in the streets. That's how he ended up getting shot. David Benavidez, real, I can't be up in the streets like that. Wherever the older sibling falters, the younger sibling doesn't.
Okay, let me read up a couple of these in the chat real quick. Uh, to my cousin, what's going on, Lando? Baller Die Entertainment. What's going on, Cuzzo? Mike Ware. Everybody hit the thumbs up, y'all. Wayne Smout, you said Tim Zoo's dad was amazing. And see, I know when it comes to Dez, he really knows about those families that have those talented families, like in their bloodline. Dez is real good with that, and these throwback fighters. Uh, Dez is like the guru of that. I don't know about Tim Zoo's dad. Me personally, I don't know about him.
Kostya, Kostya, fought. Kostya was born in Australia. No, Kostya was
Mhm.
born in Russia and
Oh,
was
okay.
back in the day, like under the Soviet Union, a lot of those guys across all sports they couldn't leave. Like how Cuba was. So Kasha had to defect from Russia, and he went to Australia, and that's how he turned pro. And then he became a two-time junior welterweight champion, undisputed at junior welterweight after he beat Zab Judah. That's the famous fight where he knocked down Zab Judah. Zab Judah popped back up on Bambi legs and pointing at
Oh, that's when what's the name made the Cedric the Entertainer made a parody about it. Yeah.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
don't play with matches. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that was great.
So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Kasha Zoo, uh sadly he's not more remembered because by the time he became undisputed was like 98. He started dealing with a lot of injuries. So like after he became undisputed, he only like defended the belt, I think, 3 times. And each time he defended it, like he lost the title. So like by the time he fought Ricky Hatton on Showtime in front of millions of people, he hadn't fought in like 13, 14 months, and he was coming off of an injury and surgery. And then not only that, but then he had a mandatory in Ricky Hatton in England. So Kasha Zoo was like kind of stuck in the wrong era because the guys he fought an old Chavez, uh, and he fought Zab, and beating Zab is kind of a weird conundrum because it doesn't really matter when you beat Zab because his career has always been so up and down. So you never really know when Zab's prime actually was. So it's kind of hard to gauge a Zab Judah victory in your career because he was up and down all the time. But Kasha's in the Hall of Fame. You know, he's the best. He's If you were to do a Mount Rushmore of the super lightweights, I mean of the super the of 140, he'd be on it. In my opinion, the Mount Rushmore of 140 is Kasha Zoo, Barney Ross, um, Aaron Pryor, and Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
All right, let me see. So let's talk about the MVP card that happened today. Shout outs to all the ladies that did their thing. Hey, hey, no disrespect in the what's the name, no trolling. So I'm gonna delete that because we're not gonna be disrespectful, especially to my peoples. You get up out of here ASAP. All right. So as I was saying, um, all right. So UK, two weight world champion Chantel Cameron, 21 1-1 with a 38% KO ratio versus Michaela, how you pronounce the last name? Kataskova of Austria. Her record 11-0-2 with a 36% KO ratio. Um, Chantel held it down and she won by unanimous decision. Did you get to see that one?
No, I don't have ESPN Plus, so
Ah, I got
I
you,
gotta,
got you, got you.
yeah, I didn't get a chance. Only thing I caught was before I hopped on here while eating food was the Dubois fight, and Dubois is nice. Dubois is nice. If she can fight, she can box, she can move, she can go in and out. I mean, look, y'all, there's a reason that, in my opinion, there's only two fights that make sense for Clarissa moving forward, and it's not Lauren
Mhm.
Price. Even though I called that situation not too long ago, but I'm Carolina Dubois, Shadisha Green are the only options that make sense for Clarissa Shields as far as like resume, legacy, and stuff like that. Because in the hardcore fans' opinion, which is the only ones that's really helping the women's sport of boxing, the only ones that paying attention. Those are the only fights that really matter because those are the only fights that we feel as though are 50-50 for Clarissa.
Right.
Because Clarissa wouldn't be able to fight um Shadisha how she fought Francis Cruz de Jern. She
Hmm.
wouldn't be able to just stand toe to toe with her like that because Shadisha can actually crack. and then Dubois versus Clarissa would be more of a in my opinion, more of a chess match because Clarissa doesn't, in my opinion, she's not a power puncher like that. So it would turn into a high volume chess match between them two, which would be very interesting to see because it would. We don't think maybe Dubois isn't as smart as Clarissa, but she clearly has the physical attributes and tools to bridge that gap. And then Clarissa's not getting any younger.
Yeah, that's true. She's not getting any younger, and
Then the
she was
weight
actually there.
fluctuation, then going up and
Right.
down in weight the way she's doing, unless she's really, really taking care of herself, which she may be. She don't drink, she don't smoke, she don't party. You know what I'm saying? So you can clearly tell she takes care of herself. So she may be her dietary concerns may be not there at all. So she may be able to
And
do this the proper way. So who knows? But I don't. I'm not caring about any Clarissa fight unless I see Shields versus Dubois or Shields versus Green.
yes, that's what he's saying, Mike. Where if Shadeja Green at 168 don't happen with Clarissa, if somehow it was a catch weight that Dubois would come up later on in the future and maybe um, fight Shields, because you remember Shields said she would go down to fight Michaela Mayer, and Michaela
At one
Mayer
said
fought.
McKay's at
Uh,
160, right?
I think so because she fought Alicia Baumgartner, so they
Yeah,
made that fight
AB's at
happen.
160. Where's Dubois at what 175?
No, no, Clarissa's 175, and then I think Dubois. Let me see exactly what her weight class is. Let me see real quick.
Cause she talking about Lauren Price. Lauren Price at welterweight.
I know she's little, so I'm like, I don't see how that was gonna work.
Little.
How Clarissa was thinking that was gonna work.
Gold medalist versus gold medalist. That's what they'll be building on. That
All
would be
right, so
gold medalist versus
Carolyn,
gold medalist.
she's 135. Carolyn,
Dubois,
she's muscular, but yeah, she's only 135.
she
She's
got
just
some what
real.
she got some classes to
The
get up.
genetics, she got that genetics though. You know, like her brother Dubois, Daniel. They just big. You know, they got
What are
that
they,
muscular.
African
I can't remember if their dad was African. You know what? Is Stan African? I'm not sure. That's a good
or
question. I,
Jamaican?
or something
Because
like
they
that. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I think their dad is from the islands or from
a
Africa
lot
or
of
something
the
like
because
that.
Eubank
Genetic freaks.
Nigel Ben is his dad is from Jamaica, and then
Oh, okay.
Eubank Senior, then Eubank his dad is like Christopher Eubank, like no, not Christopher. His dad is from like he's from Africa. Like a lot of those guys, like or a lot of those African English people are from UK are a lot of their ancestors come from Jamaica or Africa in
Or
itself.
Africa. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Lennox Lewis. His family's from Jamaica.
Yes, his folks is from Jamaica. Frank
Mhm.
Bruno's folks are from Africa. Um David Hayes folks are from Jamaica. Um
Moses Atuma's dad is Nigerian, I think.
yeah. Yeah, his dad is
Just like Anthony
Nigerian.
Joshua. Anthony Joshua's dad is Nigerian.
Yeah, Ola Afolabe, his folks are from West Africa. So yeah, a lot of the 9 times like Lawrence it's in the names.
Yeah.
Itoma, Okoli.
Okoli.
Yeah,
I
it's
wonder
in
about Richard Reactpour. Reactpour, if he's I never did a
I
background on
wouldn't be
his
surprised if
family.
he is it. I know Okoli
Yeah.
is like Nigerian.
Yeah, Nigerian, yeah. For sure, for sure. Hey, Cuzzo, Rico Carter, what's going on, Cuzzo? Thanks for following through, man. Thanks for the support. Please hit the thumbs up, everybody. Everybody in here in the chat, hit thumbs up. Jack Lowney, you said Chisora versus Wilder. Not much skill on show, but it was a good scrap regardless. Both showed great chins. I mean, it kind of ended up being the type of fight to where it's like, okay, both of these guys got pretty good chins, so I agree with what you said. And they both got heart. And Wilder can really punch, and then Chisora is not bad. I mean, he still has good power. He don't have Wilder power, But it kind of panned out like you think, like I thought. A lot of rough house tactics, a lot of grappling and shoving and up against the ropes and all that crazy stuff. But overall, I just feel like Wilder would be in trouble with a real polished fighter. Because if Wilder was more polished himself, he could have stopped Chisora.
We
He
seen what he
just
looks like
he punches
against
like this. He was doing stuff like
we
this. It's hammer
we
fist and
seen what he looks like against polished opposition. He done seen it twice. What are you talking about? We seen it already 3 times. Fury, Zhang, Park. We seen it.
yeah, man. That's real talk. That is real talk, man. Absolutely, Jack. Mate, I agree. The right man did win. Wilder, he deserved to win. A lot of people thought he won a unanimous decision, even though it was a split decision, but he did win. Wayne Smout, you said crazy fight. Wilder versus Dale. Yeah, you kind of expect that that's going to be a crazy fight with those type of energies in that ring, bomb squad and war. So yeah, it definitely was a fight that it definitely would make a casual of it. You know what I'm saying? A casual fan would be like, ooh, because they don't respect technique. They don't respect polish. They don't respect fundamentals. They don't
No,
respect
well,
the twos and threes and fours and
it's because of this. It's because of the aesthetic. If you can color it up, that's one thing. Like, if put it in perspective, I'm pretty sure Shakur and Boots IQ are about the same. Would you agree? Like, their intelligence wouldn't
yeah,
be
I
that
would
far
say,
off.
yeah, it
Be-
wouldn't be that far off. Yeah. Hmm.
the only difference is Shakur uses it in a way to where you can see it all the time. Like, you can see that he's constantly trying to outthink his opponent before trying to
Hmm.
outfight his opponent.
Right. Yeah.
Jaron uses his IQ for aggressive counterattacking.
Hmm.
He uses his IQ to help him open up his offense. He uses his defense to set up his offense, while Shakur is using defense to control and dictate the pace of the fight, while Jaron is trying to use the pace against you. Sort of how, I'm not going to say pretty boy, but when people compare shoulder rolls, James versus Floyd, mainly Money Mayweather, not Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy was fighting people,
Fighting. Right. 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 Hmm.
but like Pretty Boy and James had the same mentality. Use their defense to open up their offense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man.
when you have, and some people will try to compare Shakur versus Sweet Pea, but Sweet Pea was willing to sell out to make a fight. When I mean sell out, as in Shakur is never going to say, I'm going to stop boxing. I'm just going to fight. I got to fight this guy. Shakur is always going to try and find a way to box.
Yeah.
Always.
Safety first. Yeah. Yep.
Sweet Pea was willing to stand in front of you and fight you if he knew
Hmm.
that boxing you was going to be harder to do than if I would just stand right in front of you and fight you. Because Sweet Pea could still swim without getting wet standing right in front of you. Little movements,
Right.
angles,
Hmm.
catching the jab, catching the hook, holding your arm
Yep.
here, stuff like that. So Shakur is never going to do that. So I think when you have a fight, that's why Sweet Pea was more. People showed up more for a Sweet Pea fight because Sweet Pea is going to fight you while still making you look stupid.
There it
There may
is.
not
Facts.
be knockouts involved, but there's always going to be something. Man, did you see that Sweet Pea fight last night? Man, he was
Uh huh.
dodging. He was doing all kinds. He was
Doing
doing
all
this
that
and
like
stuff, man.
Matrix. Yeah. Yep.
Man,
Yep.
Man, he was squatting down and stuff, like he was in a corner, like he was doing, man, you should have seen it. So
Uh-huh.
Shakur doesn't care.
Right. Yeah. It's like you said, it's like Sweet Pea could do what he does, but it looks entertaining. It captures you. People be in awe.
He's
Whereas
willing to sell out.
what Shakur does is like, I mean, yeah, we as a purist, I can respect it. I know what he's doing, but it's not entertaining to a casual. A casual may still like Sweet Pea, but they're not going to really cater to Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
You know.
Just because you have to be willing. It's not the fact that some fight fan that granted the casual isn't going to be looking towards you at times, but they can at least they can at least put eyes on you if you're going to sell out a little bit. And Shakur is not willing to sell out at all. He's not even he's not looking and stuff when they miss. He's not doing the matador stuff like Loma would do. He's not selling himself. And at least Crawford had an argument. At least I'm knocking dudes out. That's why Crawford didn't feel like he needed to sell himself because I'm knocking him out. Shakur is not selling himself, nor is he trying to knock him out. So
Exactly.
he
Yeah.
has to keep winning.
Right. 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 Right.
Because as soon as he loses, why are we going to want to see? You're not undefeated. You're not champion. You don't sell out. You don't put out. But Wilder
Yeah.
Del Boy it was sloppy. If Wilder learned footwork, he'd still be dangerous because when you learn the fundamentals of boxing, so that way when you lose your athleticism, your athletic gifts, you have your foundation to fall back on. The power's still there. That's why Roy had a hard time after his physical prime. Not because he didn't understand boxing or have a high IQ, because he did. Because to fight the way Roy fought, you have to understand every nuance of boxing to be able to rip it up and do freeform jazz, which is what Roy did. Roy's problem was, I don't think he ever thought he'd not have the ability to do what he does.
Right. Right. Right.
So he never
Yeah.
thought about, I'm going to have to fight different or change my style whenever I
Mm-hmm.
don't have the speed or the timing and stuff like
And
that.
the
So he never
reflexes.
altered.
Yeah.
He never
Yeah.
changed because I don't think he ever believed that he had to.
Right. Right. Never
While
looking that far ahead that hey, reflexes ain't gonna be the same always, and my time is gonna I'm gonna be
now, granted,
missing
if you
a
heard
step or two.
the way Roy spoke on HBO and stuff, you knew he was intelligent. You knew he had a high IQ. You knew it. But
Hmm.
the way it's like, that may happen to him, but it ain't gonna happen to me. It was like
Right.
his energy about it sort of said.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so with Wilder, the fact that you were with for 10 years, you were with Mark Breland, arguably one of the greatest American amateur of all time. And not only that, a two-time welterweight champion, fought a who's who of competitors, and had an amazing long reach, raising leverage, good footwork, good, amazing fundamentals with crazy power. If you were ever going to become the best version of yourself, you had the perfect coach, an Olympic gold medalist, over 150 amateur fights, uh, over 30 professional fights, two-time world champion, a legitimate knockout artist who understood how to fight with his tools, not against them. You don't learn nothing.
Daddy wants the rest of this his peach cobbler and whipped cream.
Yeah, I'll eat it later.
Let's see.
No, Daddy can have that. No,
Okay, let me get back a little bit on the card of the MVP ladies card. So congrats to Ellie Scottney. Um, back and forth fight. pretty much. But Scotty was definitely outlanding Flores. But Flores was, in there in the trenches with her, going back and forth. So Ellie Scottney is now elevated to undisputed super bantamweight champ. She's holding the WBA, WBO, IBF, and WBC belt. So congrats to her. Main event: Terry Harper and Carolyn Dubois.
Dang.
Uh, it was good. It was a good fight. It was definitely a learning experience for Carolyn.
Yeah, we can
There's
go ahead
certain
and.
things that she should have did, she didn't do. But that comes with getting grown and growing in the sport, maturing in the sport.
Tennis court or the church house?
Um,
It's cool.
she
Like
has
that.
good
Tennis
defense.
court.
Like, I mean, she has a pretty good defense, and
She
her
gonna have.
movement's good. Southpaw. So Carolyn Dubois has a lot of good attributes. Her issue to me was she wasn't cutting off the ring. She needs to learn how to cut off the ring.
I was just saying,
Cutting
bro.
off the ring is a lost art. A lot of people don't know how to cut off that ring.
There aren't enough
But
teachers anymore in boxing.
yeah.
There aren't any. There, I don't. A lot of the. I don't know if the assistants to the teachers. Because I'm like, where Teddy? I'm like, not necessarily Teddy. Teddy's been out of coaching a long time. Not since his last fighter he trained was Tim Bradley. But Freddie's coaching. You mean to tell me there are no assistants to Freddie Roach that can't help train some of these fighters? You mean to tell me
hmm
that Michael Moore aren't help training these fighters? You know what I'm saying? Like who else? I know Brian Valoria. I know he's out training. I know he has something to give to some of these fighters. He's a former champion himself. He's coaching fighters. There aren't any assistants to Nacho Beristain that are helping with these fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like the only ones you really see are like the families. Like there's Big G. He doesn't coach no more because Robert coaches. And then it trickles down to Fernando Vargas. Fernando Vargas was trained by Big G, and then was trained a little bit and then trained a little bit by Roberto. And then now you got Roberto coaching. He's a legendary coach at this point. And you got Fernando coaching because he's a product of Big G, and he's solidly coaching his sons. You got Abel Sanchez. There are no assistants to Abel Sanchez that can help these guys figure it out. I can go on like the Stewart family. You got Manny. Then you got
His nephew, Sugar Hill.
you got his nephew. But I know Glenn Johnson's coaching. He doesn't have any top guys. He's coaching guys up right now, but Glenn Johnson is going to be a hell of a trainer when he finally gets a guy up to that level. Roy Jones has been training guys on. I think he's now becoming a full-time trainer now. I remember Roy Jones first trained Jean Pascal way back when. He's coached Nordine Ubali. That was his first world champion. I know right now he's coaching that guy Kevin Newman II, who really showed up and showed out in his last fight against Elijah Garcia. He was an underdog in that fight. So, Roy really had Roy talked to him like a grown man in that corner. T Hill was good.
T Hill, what's going on, brother? All right, so let's talk a little bit about the zone card last night. Middleweight division, Amir Anderson, 7-0-0 versus Jordan Dijon, record of 10-7-0. He was stopped in the eighth final round in the last 40 seconds. Were you able to see that one?
Yeah. I saw that, and I saw some of the PBC card too. Yeah, that was a interesting scrap. I didn't
Yeah,
expect the
yeah.
stoppage to come, but
Exactly. It's like he was adamant he wanted to stop it. He kept going for it. Like I
yeah,
like them kind of fighters. Like they show like they're not comfortable. Like he could have said, you know what? I'm cruising. I'm winning the fight. Let me go ahead and cruise these last 40 seconds. I'm getting my hand raised. But he's like, if I could take it out the hand of the judges, let me just go ahead and stop this guy. I like that instinct, man. I like those instincts in these fighters. That's that
Yeah, that's
Keyshawn
something that you
Davis
can't.
mentality.
Yeah, you can't coach that.
You
You
can't
can't.
coach it.
You
Yep.
can't coach that. It's got to be in you. You got to want that. And Keyshawn Davis perplexes me. He has all the skills in the world, all the talent in the world. I'm worried about up here. I can't help but to worry that he's a massive upset waiting to happen. Because I just think he's the type of fighter to go in there thinking, I got this already won. Now, I'm not saying he gets knocked out or anything like that, but I'm
Right,
thinking
right.
that eventually he comes across that one opponent that he just takes lightly, you know what I'm saying, and then winds up losing a split decision or a fight he should have clearly won without a doubt, but let rounds get away because he still thinks he has time for that stoppage that never is allowed to him. That's what I see happening. That I see Keyshawn allowing losses to happen because he might settle or he might
You think he
think
might have one of those Tank Davis moments when he went against Lamont Roach? One of those.
that type of situation. Yeah. The only reason Tank got away with it is there's so much money behind him. Keyshawn don't got that type of money behind him right now. So
Right.
this is
Right.
the perfect time to get caught in a situation like that because
I and you bring up a
because
good point. I think it's going to be a problem when he fights if he does that rematch with Nahir Albright. He's the one that can give him issues.
yeah, Keyshawn seems to have problems with guys who don't mind punching with him. When you fighting someone who doesn't mind punching with you, it's hard to reset because not hard to reset. It's hard for you to want to engage on a consistent base. You're gonna want to you try to pick and choose your spots of engagement because you don't want because that person's trying to turn almost every exchange to a firefight, and I don't think Keyshawn wants to play that game, sort of say with someone who can punch like Nahir Albright and someone who can make adjustments round by round like Nahir Albright, like he did in the Frank Martin fight. The Frank Martin fight
Frank
really
Martin
showed me
fight.
with
Yeah.
Nahir that
Yeah.
Nahir is pretty intelligent because he tried one way that didn't work. He was trying to box on the outside, and then by round two or then by round three, Frank took that away from him. And then by round 6 and 7, he started using the 1-2-1 combo and then the 2-1-2 combo. That started working for a few rounds. And when that stopped working, then he started using pity pat combos to open up on big shots at the end, which got which got Frank hurt and buzzed. So the fact that Nahir has a mindset and the intelligence of I'm gonna try this. Oh, that don't work. I'm gonna try this. Oh, that don't work. I'm gonna try. That's a dangerous opponent because that means they have a lot of tools in their bag that they don't mind throwing in there in the heat of the moment.
Right. Right. Facts. Hey, shout outs again. What up, family? Sweet Jones, Cuzzo, what's up? Uh Gift the Fresh. You said, did Wilder take a little off at the end out of respect for Chisora? Well, according to Wilder, he said he did. Whether or not that's the case, I can't say. Um, but I don't know. I mean, they have a certain level of respect for each other, so maybe Wilder did just kind of carry him in the last few rounds or whatever.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you wanna say yes because they're friends, but then again, we've seen how friends fight each other. But then also you gotta admit that maybe Wilder just didn't have enough to really get rid of Chisora. I mean, Chisora hasn't been stopped by everybody. So I mean, I think the only guys that really stopped Chisora at the big time were White that one time and David Hay did it. And outside of that, I can't think of anybody else that's been able to get it. Oh, Fury, but I don't think that fight Chisora versus Fury should have ever really happened. But the only thing that makes sense now is Wilder versus AJ.
Yeah, man. And speaking of that, we're gonna talk about that since you brought it up. We seen the footage of Wilder walking out after the fight, and he says to AJ, "Let's get it on." So of course that's gonna go probably viral. I'm pretty sure everybody like Showbiz, the adult, all the other platforms are gonna be talking about that. Um, but yeah, it's about that time. It's like it's now or never. Because Wilder's already at the age of 40. So if
Yeah,
he's
he's
gonna make it
42.
happen, well, no, that was Chisora's 42.
Oh, okay. Oh, Wilder's 40.
Yeah, and Wilder's 40. Yep. So we'll see, man. We're gonna see. Um, that fight needs to happen. I mean, they could really make it happen this year. Really, they can make that happen.
I see why it doesn't happen this year. That's just my opinion. But um, I mean, I just politics.
Yeah, politics definitely weighed a lot.
I don't unless until I their brand and stuff. I don't think AJ outright said no, I don't want to fight Wilder, and I don't think Wilder outright said no, I don't want to fight AJ. I think maybe money became a problem, um, because as we all know, during that PBC era, those guys were getting paid a lot of money to fight sparingly and not against the best opposition. So I'm pretty sure that when the fight was offered for Wilder, he may have said, I want 10, 15 million dollars for the fight because I'm already making 6, 7 million dollars to fight nobody. So if y'all want me to fight somebody, y'all gotta bring the Brinks truck. I'm pretty sure it's kind of how that went down. Unless unless Eddie Hearn made the negotiations too difficult. Like we're not coming to America, y'all gotta come to England and the split's gotta be this and that or whatever.
Well, this is just the feeling I had got a while back. It just seemed like for whatever reasons it was, Deontay Wilder had act like he had a personal dislike for Eddie Hearn. He was always making these little smart, sly comments about him, and I'm like, dude, you barely really even know this man. All you know is he's just a promoter. How's he any different than Shelly Finkel or Al Heyman, who nobody really ever sees? But how was Eddie Hearn any different besides he just more visible to the public, where Al Heyman stays in the background, or whatever. So it's like I don't understand the disdain Wilder act like he had for Eddie Hearn until recently, a couple years ago when they showed him on the plane together and they was talking. And he said, "Well, Eddie Hearn is really a cool guy. Once I got to actually get to know him and talk to him." So I think it was something in the mindset of Wilder. How sometimes a person can think something in their mind that's not really what it is. I think Wilder just never gave Eddie Hearn a fair shake, and I think
Or
that's
whispers,
played a big part of
or
it too.
or whispers to get into the mind of him with bullshit, so that way he just
Hmm.
automatically associates Eddie Hearn with negativity. Like, man, I ain't trying to be. Why do I want to mess with that dude? I didn't heard stuff about him and stuff. Like, boxing it's a weird, dirty. It's a weird, dirty business, man. It is a weird and dirty business. I don't know any other sport that makes the fighters forget that everybody else works for them.
Hmm.
Like I don't know any other sport that says I'll let my people talk to your people. I'm like, why can't we agree to a fight right now and then work out the details later?
Right. Sweet Jones, Cuzzo, you said I think so too. Wilder is no longer a threat. Yeah, man, it's a wrap. T Hill, you said I think it's next myself being. Why else would they have all the cut scenes of them two together on camera? And now AJ knows Wilder is no longer the threat he once was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Wilder has. We all know he has that right hand, but that's all he ever really ever possessed was a right hand and a lot of heart. He gets dropped, he'll get back off the canvas. We seen it, so we know that part of Wilder, and I respect the fact he did what he did because he had a daughter with spinal bifida. So those three reasons I do like about Wilder. You did it for your daughter, you got a lot of heart, and you got a crazy right hand. But other than that, look at his opposition. Think about it. AJ fought Ruiz twice. AJ fought Usyk twice. A prime Dubois.
I
Even though
I can
Paveka
I
was
can
older, he knocked out a prime Dillian White. But people want to
he
throw,
fought
oh, Paveka was old.
yeah, he fought
Well, Wilder
Povetkin,
never fought those guys.
he fought Povetkin, he fought Pulev, he fought
Yep,
White, he fought
yep. Parker.
Parker.
Yep.
Now they do have two colliding uh adversaries, believe it or not. They actually do have two fighters they fought as title defenses around the exact same time, actually. Um one is Dominic Brazil, and then the other one, not Johan Duhaupas, Eric Molina. So Eric
Mhm.
Molina and Dominic Brazil are their two common opponents. Now,
Yep.
Eric Molina was a fighter who kind of caught fighters at the right time when he beat them and wound up as a title contender. While Dominic Brazil was a legitimate Olympian on the American Olympic team, the same one with Marcus Brown. Um, Now, what made Dominic Brazil a top 10 heavyweight was his punch resistance. He could take a shot the whole fight. That was
Yeah.
his
Yeah. Yeah.
thing. After
Hmm.
he fought, now he was fine after AJ, but it was after he fought Wilder that his punch resistance was gone. Eric wasn't anything to write home about ever. So I always saw it like this. What's the best version of AJ we've ever seen? Someone would argue Vladimir fight
Yeah. Yeah. Probably
or
Vladimir.
the Ruiz or the second Ruiz fight. What's the best version of Wilder we've ever seen? Either the Ortiz first fight or the first Fury fight. Does the Now let's say the best version of Wilder is the Wilder that fought Fury. Does that version beat the best version of AJ?
Hmm. That's a great question.
We got to think about this fight from the fighter's perspective. If I'm Wilder, what am I actually worried about from AJ?
Right.
Because everybody I fight is going to be better than me. Technically, they're going to be
Because I think
technically
what it
everyone.
is,
If I'm Wilder, everyone I'm fighting technically is going to be better than me. Technically,
and what I think what people think is they get I think sometimes caught up in the first Ruiz fight that happened with AJ, and then even
now
what happened recently with Dubois, who could really punch.
was
He caught AJ
Ruiz
flush punch. He
was
caught him
Ruiz
flush
the first
first.
was Ruiz the first fighter that AJ fought who had the threat of knocking out AJ from rounds 1 through 12?
Nope,
He didn't
Povetkin
fight
or
anybody.
Klitschko had that. They had that. They possessed that.
They were older. When you're older, you can't recover as well after you get hurt or after you put out. When Vladimir had his shot against AJ, but he ran out of gas after he knocked him down.
Hmm.
Povetkin always had problems with guys that he couldn't open up on the inside since he never was consistent on the inside with AJ. He wasn't going to get that opportunity. So AJ, I don't think AJ ever really fought an opponent outside of Ruiz and Dubois who had the threat of I can literally knock you out from rounds 1 through 12. And we saw what happened when he fought those guys the first time. He got knocked out. Is that what he was always worried about with Wilder? I'm going up against someone who not only believes he can knock me out from round 1 through round 12, but he can actually do it. He damn near did it to Fury. Not to mention, we could talk all we want about Wilder's physical attributes, but you can't say Wilder didn't have the best physical recovery from getting hurt of most active fighters during his prime. If Wilder got hurt, you literally had to get him out the rounds you got him. Otherwise, he was going to be perfectly fine the next round. His ability to recover was world class. So is that what AJ was worried about? Someone who can recover within a round from being hurt and that can knock me out from round 1 through round 12. I think that's what AJ was worried about, even when the fight was a big deal. So if anyone was saying no to a fight, I think AJ would say no to a fight.
Well, see, and here's my thing though. I think too, yes, we know Wilder can knock him out because Dubois showed he can knock out AJ. Klitschko hurt him, of course, Ruiz. But I think the thing is that people, if we're looking at a fight, we gotta look at the fact that okay, what if AJ gets to drop on him first? We don't know how that's gonna happen. We
AJ's
don't
never
know
been
who's
a
gonna
fast
be
starter.
because look at the what was that? If you look at the times that AJ knocked down people, he normally knocked them down first before he got hurt. He dropped Klitschko first. He dropped Ruiz first. Then in return, they got up and hurt him. So who's
but
to
I
say
don't
that if he
think
knocked
that
down
dictates
Wilder in the same capacity, that Wilder could get up from that same punch that dropped Ruiz or the same punch that dropped Klitschko?
But AJ never had the ability to finish guys off the first time he got him down, which is why he ate shit afterwards.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
So maybe that's what he was worried about. Even if I knock this guy down, he's going to recover within a round and still have all the power in the world. And then think about it. Even if he thought that, okay, let's see what the Fury fight has to show. That was even scarier for him. Where the whole 12 rounds, he still got nuclear in his arms. There's nothing to discourage him. Maybe that's what made. I don't think Wilder would ever say no because in his. What does AJ bring that the other guys didn't bring? He fought Olympians. He fought undefeated fighters. He fought power punchers. He fought guys with speed. He fought guys with experience. He fought guys who technically were better than him. So what is AJ going to bring that he hasn't had to worry about in general throughout his whole career, even going back to the amateurs? I think that fight was more scary for AJ than it was for Wilder because Wilder held more unknowns than AJ. Because you can prepare for what AJ brings to the table. I don't think you can prepare thoroughly for a Wilder fight because no one's fighting stupid like that on purpose, and he's not doing it on. That's just how he fights, though.
That's just how he fights. Right.
Yeah, that's just how he fights.
Right. Yeah, that's what makes it crazy. Is he just with Wilder, you don't know what he's gonna do, like he did with Stavern in the rematch.
Yeah, that's just how he fights. And no one else is trying to fight like that.
Right. Yeah, it's so it's so left. It's so left.
So how do you get sparring partners for Wilder?
Exactly, right. Yeah.
Just getting tall guys that hit hard ain't enough. I need tall, awkward, unorthodox guys who don't know how to hold their feet right. Like I can't even get proper sparring partners for Wilder.
Facts.
I need you to be at least 6'6". What? Who will walk like?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's real talk though. That's real talk, man. Because Wilder, man, like you said, you really can't.
6'3", 6'4", double fisted punchers. I can find a prototype or a great value AJ. I can find that. I can't find.
You can find a Timu. You can find a Timu.
Yeah,
AJ.
I can find a Timu AJ. I can't find no great value Wilder. Wilder is great value.
Real talk, man. uh, oh man. All right, let me read some more of these comments real quick. Let me go back up here. Make
I'm
sure I
going to
didn't
throw my
leave
trash away,
anybody.
girls. I'll be right back.
All right, shout outs T Hill. T Hill, you said it was trepidation from both camps, especially Joshua camp. Go back to the day of reckoning card. Joshua was so pressed by every word Walter said because he didn't want that smoke back then. T Hill, you also said the ring only would have bore that truth out. But at the time under Breland, he was disguising the right hand before the right hand better. And that right hand was almost akin to the right hand of God being those artifacts. I mean, hey man, water is always dangerous, and as Des just said, you really can't prepare. It's hard to prepare for that because nobody fights like Wilder. Wilder is just Wilder. He's just who he is. He's his own him. There is no other Wilder. There's no other carbon copies. There's no other clones out here of Wilder.
Nah.
Yeah. So yeah, in that regard, I didn't think about it that way. That's a very good point. Sweet Jones, you said can't argue with that. Great point. T Hill, you said we all need all the promotional companies to figure out middle grounds to make these fights. Absolutely. That's why I'm happy the zone and that other, that situation happened with the zone, Golden Boy, and Top Rank that they're all coming together because it was about time that something had to happen. These guys got to huddle up and make these the best of the best fights happen. You got to make it happen. Okay, on the zone undercard heavyweight division, the two UK warriors that met last night, Matty Harris, record of nine. Hold on, I think I missed it. Matty Harris versus Franklin Ignatius, record of 9-1-0. Did you see that one, fam? 'Cause that was a crazy ending. Excuse me. Matty Harris, 10-1-0 out of UK, and so was his opponent. And in round two, I believe that was round two, man. Crazy, bro. That knockout was crazy. Uh,
Was it a knockdown that happened in that fight?
yeah, in the second fight, uh,
Yes.
Matty Harris, he caught him with a right hand, almost like he was running into the fist as he came towards him, hitting with a right hand and knocked him clean out. I'm gonna send you the knockout after the show, man. It was crazy. It was insane. That was one of the best knockouts on that card. Now on that same card, WBO interim world middleweight title, Denzel Bentley of UK, 21-3-1, of which 17 by way of KO, fought injury Savadra of Venezuela. His record was 17 wins, 14 by KO, one loss, one draw. Now this fight was pretty much back and forth from round one to 1-6 to round six, man. Back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah,
But
I saw that fight
you
because
see
I'm
that one?
familiar with Denzel. I'm familiar with
Yeah,
Denzel Bentley. I remember seeing him when he fought Janabek a few years back. And he gave Janabek I think he's the only title, he's the only defense that Janabek has had that went the distance. And Janabek's only gone the distance 5 times. So when he went the distance with Bentley, I'm like, oh, I wonder how tough this fight was. Watch it. Okay, so he showed that Janabek has a hard time fighting on the inside. Um, that you can that Janabek has a hard time with using angles to get out of situations. As in, you can get Janabek's back on the ropes. That's interesting. Janabek has a hard time fighting backwards. That's also interesting. Okay, so if you can meet him in the middle, you can push him back because he doesn't fight moving backwards. And Denzel took advantage of that until Janabek wouldn't allow him to do that no more, pretty much. So, but now, and then I didn't think Denzel was gonna be in this position again because he lost to Danny Dignam in a regional fight right after. So I'm like, oh, well, that was it for him at this level. And now he's most likely in a position to either fight Janabek in a rematch, or if Janabek doesn't fight this year, he's most likely going to get stripped and Denzel would be elevated. That would give England potentially three, go back over there, three middleweight champions, because you got Hamza Shiraz fighting for the WBO middleweight championship.
all right. I think he froze up, but I'm pretty sure he'll be probably coming right back on. So, also on the zone card, we had the EBU European title and IBF World Cruiserweight title eliminator. We had from UK Vidal Riley, 50% KO ratio, his record of 14-0-0. So he's still a pretty young fighter. I think age 28, only 14 fights. Versus his opponent, Matus, I believe it's pronounced Matus Masternak, a Poland fighter. His record was 50 wins, 7 losses, no draws. So he's had a lot of experience. 50 wins, that's a lot of experience against a guy who only had 14 fights. Well, it was good to see the less experienced Vidal Riley win a unanimous decision. It was good to see his hand raised. So shout outs to the young gun Vidal Riley on his unanimous decision win last night on the zone. Also in the light heavyweight division, now this is a fight that will be coming up. Callum Smith versus David Morrell. Um, Callum Smith of UK has a 71% knockout ratio, a record of 31, 2, and 0, by which 22 came by knockout. His opponent, born in Cuba, David Morrell, 12 wins, 1 loss, no draws, with a 75% knockout ratio. Now, David Morrell, of course, if we remember, he gave a real good account of himself when he fought undefeated um, undefeated fighter David Benavidez back in 2025. Now, David did he did fight again in that same year, David Morrell. In 2025, he won a decision over Ayman Kadiev. Now, Callum Smith, he has a deeper resume than David Morrell. He has a win over Joshua Buatsi. He's actually the first person to put a loss on the record of Joshua Buatsi. He lost to Arthur Peterviev, and he has a loss to Canelo. So the only two losses for Callum Smith are Arthur Peterviev and Canelo Alvarez. So, given that, we have to say he lost to two of the top guys. So it's understandable that he would come up short potentially against that type of level of opposition. Um, so what do y'all think about David Morrell versus Callum Smith in the light heavyweight division? Do you have a prediction? Let me know. I don't have a prediction as of yet. Still, I still don't know for sure. I think Callum Smith will edge a win, but I'm just not sure. I'm gonna think on it a little bit more, and maybe on a follow up episode, I'll have more of a decisive answer. But man, I tell you, that's going to be a good fight. That's going to be a good fight. But let me know your predictions in the chat. Also, speaking of Deontay Wilder, he said he wants to smoke with everybody. So of course, we've been speaking on AJ's name. He wants Anthony Joshua. If he can't get Anthony Joshua, he said he's willing to fight the young up and coming Moses Ntuma, who we just saw in dramatic fashion knocked out Jermaine Franklin of Saginaw, Michigan, USA. Moses Ntuma, a southpaw. He is very quick. He's in and out the pocket very fast, using angles, sidestepping, um, fast hands, fast feet. He's the type of fighter that I think would stop Wilder within a few rounds. Now, what you also see with Wilder lately too is he doesn't really throw a jab with his left. He kind of uses it as a filler, or he'll be kind of lazy and he'll do that little thing he does. And I'm like, what is he doing? He's gonna end up getting counterpunched. You know, if somebody really knows what they're doing and can work the body, like Moses and Tuma, Wilder's in trouble because he's gonna go upstairs and downstairs, and he can throw an uppercut. So if Wilder gets in the clinch with Moses and Tuma, or goes to clinch him, or fight out the clinch, he might catch an uppercut because we saw a devastating uppercut that Moses and Tuma was able to stop Jermaine Franklin, who has never been even dropped, and knocked him out. So I don't know. I mean, it may happen, but if it happens, I feel strongly Moses and Tuma will be the one to put Deontay Wilder into retirement. But let me know your opinion in the chat, please. And if you're coming in, please hit that thumbs up. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, Philip Herkovic had a little something to say. And as we know, or for those who may not know, Philip Herkovic will be fighting Dave Allen. But before we talk about that match, let's talk about the fact that Philip Herkovic says Moses and Tuma is not yet proven. He also said that he's willing to fight Moses and Tuma after he fights Dave Allen. Philip Herkovic sounds pretty confident that he will get past Dave Allen. He sees him as a tough fighter, but he does not see him as a great fighter. He said he's just a good fighter. So my feeling is that Philip Herkovic is going to stop Dave Allen. But if we do see Philip Herkovic versus Moses Ntuma, or Philip Herkovic and Deontay Wilder, um, I just don't see. I think it's all bad. From this point, if Wilder wants these title shots and stuff like that, he's going up against the guys like the Moses Ntuma, Philip Herkovic. Even if he got a chance at Usyk, to me, he's going to get destroyed. I just don't see it being a good look for him. But I guess we will see what the future holds in that regard. Now speaking of Tim Zoo that we talked about earlier. Now Tim Zoo, um, of course, he won against the Albanian fighter Dennis Nurja on a decision last night. He calls out Errol Spence, saying that he said something like, "Let's go fishing." Now Spence tweets back in response to Tim Zoo, and he says he thinks shit is sweet. So Earl Spence, he wants to smoke. Now, here's the good thing though. It has been a while since Spence has been in the ring. It's been like a 3-year layoff. But I think the good thing is this will be his first fight at 154. He finally gets to fight at 154. I think he will acclimate good to that weight. I think he didn't do too good trying to stay at 147. He needed to move up. I think he was outgrowing that frame and trying to do too much. And I understood he wanted to make sure he got the fight with Bud Crawford or whatever. But now he's at 154. I definitely feel it's going to do him better. So, and part of the reason why he might have got hurt so easily might have been the weight when he was at 147. Maybe at 154, he's going to take the shots better. And we know he likes to work the body. I think he's going to definitely exploit that when he fights Tim Zoo. Um, of course, ring rust, it can definitely be a factor. But we're going to see. We're going to see. Now, next weekend, April the 11th, we got Tyson Fury versus Arslanbek Magmadov card. So let's talk about the undercard. We got in heavyweights, we got a clash with Frazier Clark and Justice Huney. Justice Huney is more of a boxer style. He's not necessarily known for power. However, um, he knows how to stick and move. He will get in the pocket in spurts like he did against Fabio Wardley and eventually got caught and knocked out. But with Frazier Clark, he has decent power, but he's not like a Fabio Wardley, necessarily a one punch uh, showstopper. So I feel like it'll be a pretty good fight. I think that learning whatever he did, whatever slip up he had against Fabio Wardley when he got caught, he's going to be very, very strategic and very mindful of what happened. I think with Frazier Clark, Justice Huney is going to try to tighten up all his little defensive errors that were there. I really can't call that fight though. I think that Justice Huey would be smart and win on points. He would outpoint the bigger and the slower Frazier Clark. Stick and move would probably be the best policy for him. Also on that same card, we got Regis Prograis of New Orleans, USA versus Connor Ben of UK. Um, there's been a lot of back and forth. I've seen more interviews with Regis Progress. I haven't heard a lot lately from Connor Ben, but I'm gonna try to do some research because I want to see, or I'll get on Twitter and maybe see if they're going back and forth. But I haven't seen a lot from Connor Ben. I've seen a couple clips of him hitting the power bag and stuff like that. But in response to Regis Progress, I haven't heard a lot from Connor Ben. But according to Regis Progress, he's not worried about the power of Connor Ben. He doesn't really rate Connor Ben that highly, and he thinks that he could stop Connor Ben, and that Connor Ben won't hurt him. So we're gonna see. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Um, Also on the Fury undercard, we have in the heavyweight division Richard Reactpour, who is now a heavyweight, against the heavyweight Jamie TKV. If I'm not mistaken, Richard Reactpour was a cruiserweight, but now he's a heavyweight. Um, Now, for those who are familiar with Richard Reactpour, he's a real big, solid guy. Um, I would say, I don't know, he's just a real cut up guy with big shoulders and big arms. Um, but I just have to see if all the muscle is going to be an issue for him. As far as from a cardio standpoint, as long as his gas tank is strong, he will be good. Now, Jamie TKV, he's a big dude. He could also have struggles with cardio. So it could be a kind of fight where both guys start to get fatigued in the mid rounds, and from like round 6 to 7, it might just be some heavy blows, but then some clinching, trying to get rest. To kind of take a break or whatever. So I think it'll still be a good fight. The main event next weekend on Netflix: Tyson the Gypsy King Fury versus Arslanbek Magmadov. I'm taking Tyson Fury to win by any means necessary, but I think he's going to be smart. He's not going to stay in the pocket too much. He's going to kind of hit him and move, stick and move. He's not as slick as he was when he fought Wilder in the first fight, but he still has enough upper body movement and head movement to give the slower Arslanbek Magmadov issues. Now, Fury is not known to be a avid body puncher like Ajit Kabiel, who was able to stop Magmadov with body shots. I think that he will have to implement some of that and go to the body, but he just doesn't have the type of power or the type of leverage that Ajit Kabiel possesses. But Tyson Fury is a very methodical and he's a very cerebral fighter who uses his brain. So he'll figure out a way to win. That's one thing about Fury. He's not a one dimensional fighter and he understands the boxing language. He understands the ins and outs. He understands there's a plan B, C, and maybe a plan D. Tyson Fury does understand all that. I may not be a fan necessarily of Tyson Fury, but I give credit where credit is due. Tyson Fury is a very cerebral and smart guy when it comes to boxing. His IQ, his ring, generalship. Pretty much when it came to him and Usyk, it was a game of chess. The two high level IQ guys going at it. A much bigger, taller version and a smaller guy with lateral foot movement. And I think it was a matter of Usyk could do everything Tyson could do a lot faster. And that was what gave Usyk the edge. T Hill, you said they got to make that Intuma versus Usyk fight. I know, man, but I think that Moses believes in himself and he will fight. He'll fight. I think he'll fight anybody. But I just think that Frank Warren don't necessarily want to roll the dice. I think a part of him feels that Moses could do it, but I think a lot of people are worried too. Is that in his last fight, although he won against Franklin, he showed little signs of gassing just a little bit. I think they need to get him with a cardio trainer, an aquatic coach to have him swimming, have him jump roping, uphill incline, whatever they need to do to get the stamina and the conditioning of Intuma ready for a 12 round fight. I understand he's stopping these guys, but at some point, somebody might take him 12 rounds. He needs to be ready for that. You said T Hill. I meant that Cabiel versus Usyk fight. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Cabiel versus Usyk. It's no reason that the fight doesn't happen. I can't understand how this fight doesn't materialize. I get the politics of boxing, but I, I can have my opinion on it. But I mean, Turkey Al Sheikh is not probably going to fund that. But you would think that he would be willing to, because you figure Ajit Cabiel, if he fights over, I want to say he's from Germany. So if he fights in Germany, it'll do big. Or they could fight in Ukraine. But it would, it just depends, man. I guess the venue and all that kind of stuff in consideration, but it's definitely what boxing needs. Boxing needs those type of fights. And at the end of the day, Usyk only has about 3 or 4 fights left. So why not Ajit Cabiel be one of the picks out of the hat? He should be one of those picks out the hat. Um, shout outs to Malik Scott, the former trainer of Deontay Wilder. If you saw him on the Ring magazine with his, I don't know if that's his fiance or wife, but basically, he showed a lot of emotion. He's very close to Wilder, even though he's not his trainer no more. Malik Scott still sticks by Wilder through thick and thin, and that's a true friend. You only get a true friend most of the time in life, um, like one time, like Houdini said back in the day. Friends. How many of us have them? Friends, ones you can depend on. Let's talk about friends. And that's real talk, man. I could really say friends, one of my best friends is from the Natty from here, and he moved down south. Shout outs to JC. That's my brother, my best friend. Another real close friend. Shout outs to my dude from FP, Jesse James. These are true friends. And shout outs to all of my family, Cincinnati, all around Cincinnati, um, especially Woodlawn, Leakin Heights, Lachlan. Big shout outs to my Zone 15 family. Rico, yes sir. Cuzzo, yes sir. Friends, man, friends. Um. Oh yeah, T Hill. Before we wrap it up, man, who you got? David Morrell versus David Morrell will be fighting in the light heavyweight division against Colin Smith. Colin Smith versus David Morrell. Who do you pick? T Hill. All right, all right, fellas. This will conclude um, the podcast for Ring Walk Boxing Podcast for this Sunday night here in the US of A, Eastern Standard Time, USA. I'll be going live every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA. Um, hey, same to you, Cuzzo. Happy Easter to you and everybody else out here that celebrates Easter. Now I got something going down on. I'm gonna go live on Saturday. G Fresh, you said, hold on one second. I'm gonna read your comment before I get off of here. Excuse me. All right, G Fresh. Shout out to my dude, G Fresh from um from up the road. You know, I'm a Woodline baby, and my guy out of Wyoming. Uh, G Fresh, you said Spence better not box in straight lines like he did against Bud. Yeah, man, that is an issue, man. He has to get with a trainer because I know he with I want to say with Ronnie Shields, which is a very good trainer. But certain trainers have certain strong points. I think he needs to get with somebody who can get him out of those straight lines like that because that's an issue. It makes you too predictable. A very, very good fighter, a lot of heart, but boxing in straight lines, um, yeah, once you get to the elite level, you must learn, you must have more in your toolbox. You must have more in your arsenal, or you're going to come up short. So you make a very good point there, man. And thanks for coming. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, y'all. If y'all here before you exit, hit the thumbs up. Um, so right before I leave here, I just want to say, like I said, I go live every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the USA. But on Saturday, I'm going live. This next weekend on Saturday, I will be having somebody who I had the pleasure of working with before. He invited me on his platform. He does a podcast. He's over in Canada. So shout outs to Bob, Canada's boxing channel. Well, I want to return the favor, and this time I'm going to have Bob on Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. So we will be going live on Saturday, Ring Walk Boxing Podcast and Canada's boxing channel. We will be going live. Um, Once I confirm the time, I will be posting it on social media. I will post it on Facebook. So if you follow me there, or if you follow my Twitter, or you follow my Instagram or my TikTok, whatever platform, I will be going live on Saturday with Canada's boxing channel. We're gonna do and I'm gonna start doing this more often. Hey T Hill, man, you a really cool guy. I like to get just one person though, one person every episode to chop it up like this. I had Des Scoby on for 3 weeks. I did one yesterday with Wayne Smout out of UK. I would love to do one with T Hill. Next weekend, I'll most likely have Cam J on here on next Sunday. So I just want to get somebody on here as much as possible so we can just share our thoughts on boxing. I plan to also do a podcast with G Fresh, so y'all will get to meet him on this show here in the near future. We're going to sit down and have a good, you know, sit down and politic and chop it up on this boxing talk. So please like, subscribe, share. Like I said, I'm about 40 subscribers away from 1,000. So I really, really need your help. If you could tell somebody at the gym, if you could tell somebody in your social circles, just send a link, text it to somebody, inbox it, email it, whatever. Just show them my platform, Ring Walk Boxing Podcast, and help me achieve that beginning goal. I've been doing this almost 3 years, and I appreciate every single person who's showing their love and unwavering support to Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I also have a link tree on Facebook. So on my link tree, it shows you all of my socials. It shows you where you can donate to the Venmo or the um, PayPal. I think it's PayPal and Venmo, but it's on my link tree. So if you want to make any donations to the channel, feel free to do so. And you all have a safe week, and I will catch you all on the next round. Peace.